Yo, 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 what is going on, everyone? How are we doing today? Welcome to the stream. Oh, hello, Harley. Welcome. We have another guest as well. What is going on, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well today. It is October 21st, 2025, and your boy is here doing Could Sukuna Survive in Chainsaw Man? We're going to go ahead and see if you guys have seen before. I did a video a very long time ago, but people still seem to like it, of how far Gojo would be able to go and if Gojo would be able to survive all of Chainsaw Man. And Gojo did pretty well. You okay, baby? Yeah, you okay? You going crazy? You're crazy, lady. Gojo made it pretty far, but when he got to the Primal Fears, it got pretty rough. What? What, baby? Why you acting crazy? You want to be on camera? You want to do a show? What you got going on, Bubba? Nothing? You just crazy? Okay. So, sorry about that. Anyway, hope everyone is doing well. Like I said, it is 9:04 p.m. We're gonna go through this relatively, I think this might take us about an hour, 2 hours, I think. It may not be too crazy. We're gonna start all the way from the Zombie Devil and go all the way through to Falling. I don't have Justice or Fire Devil on here, just because overall, to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to really put them on a scale. And once Sukuna reaches the Darkness Devil, Gun Devil, and Falling Devil, to be completely honest with you, those devils will pretty much paint a perfect picture for how Sukuna would probably handle all other devils going forward, especially a devil like Makima being on the list. So yeah, I don't even think devils like that would be necessary, because we'll probably have the pretty much full picture afterwards. So again, Gojo kind of tapped out during the Darkness Devil, and also when it came time to go up against like certain other devils. But let's see. Fallen Devil got me falling in love. What up, Tiberius? What up, Coconut? How are we doing, everybody? I'm glad everybody is here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Helps the stream way more than you know. It's super duper important, y'all. And so I have a little bit of an announcement. First of all, thank you so much to the stream sponsor, GamerSups. I genuinely always appreciate it. What up, Dominic? How you doing, Dan? I'm sorry I didn't see you. Harley, what are you doing? Lay down, bub. Lay down. What's wrong? You crazy? Lay down. Sorry, guys. Yeah, thank you to the stream's sponsor, GamerSups. Oh, also thank you, Big Raga, for the 5. Appreciate it. Fully Awakened Maki versus Kenjaku. I could definitely give you my take on that without a doubt. Tiberius, thank you for the $2. I'm watching with my daughter, Brooklyn. She said, hi. Hi, Brooklyn. How are we doing? Hope you're having a good day. What day is it? Is it Tuesday? Ah, it's not a weekend. That kind of stinks. But that's okay. When you know what, when Tiberius is your dad, every day is the weekend, honestly. I completely, wholeheartedly believe that. But thank you both for the dono. I sincerely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yep, everyone in chat, give hellos to Brooklyn. The girl. Big Raga. When it comes to Awakened Maki versus Kenjaku, your days are all messed up. Yo, they really are, Tiberius. It's actually insane. I was talking to Tiberius in DMs yesterday, literally talking like today was Wednesday. I'm like, I'll get this done for you tomorrow or Friday. And then I woke up this morning, I'm like, today's Tuesday. I have so much more time than I thought I did to do that. Like, I was like, I didn't even have to do what I did yesterday. I was like, what? But yeah, crazy day. But yeah, Fully Awakened Maki versus Kenjaku, it's tough because I think Gravity is where she definitely falls off, right? Gravity is 110% where she loses steam, just like Yuki would have. Like, I think depending on the curse spirit, she could probably have a pretty good run, just like Toji would, against any special grades that show up. The Ganesha curse is a little weird. She might not do so well against that, but, you know, Heavenly Restriction is definitely pretty crazy. So I really think like the winning lottery for Kenjaku would obviously be Gravity on top of Domain Expansion, because Womb Profusion on top of Gravity as the innate technique with the open barrier, it's kind of tough. Maki getting saved from normal domains is not going to get saved from Kenjaku's domain. So I think Kenjaku does probably have that victory in the bag, compared to where normally I would, I mean, even Yuta versus Kenjaku is really tough. I'm going to do a stream really soon. I'm going to do a stream really soon in regards to who the new top 10 are, you know, by the end when everybody is dead at the end of Jujutsu Kaisen. But I want to do this because I want to talk out all of my thoughts and get a full idea of how Sukuna would do for every devil, because I'm going to turn this into a video format like I did the Upper Moons I'd hopefully have that out by Wednesday or Thursday or Friday for before the movie comes out, for all that, you know, click hype. But that being said, didn't Toji defeat Geto? Yeah, but Kenjaku's a whole nother beast, right? Kenjaku's a whole nother beast. Here, we'll put it to the poll, of course. You know, democracy is democracy. But anyway, as I did in the Gojo video, we're going to start from the beginning and work our way all the way up, which means we're going to start from the Zombie Devil to the Bat Devil, Leech Devil, Eternity Devil. Then we're going to deal with Katana Man and Akane with the Snake Devil and the Ghost Devil, Typhoon and Bomb and Rize. And then we have the International Assassins arc with the Curse Devil, Doll Devil, Hell Devil, and of course Darkness Devil. And then we have the heavy hitters of Gun, not that the Darkness Devil isn't a heavy hitter, but we've got Gun Devil, Makima, Falling Devil, and Yoru as the final one, which I mean, honestly, we'll know everything we need to really know after Makima, right? But anyway, y'all, I won't be including any of the good devils like the Angel Devil, like Beam, Shark Devil, and all that stuff, because like I said earlier, a lot of the villainous devils are going to give us a really good idea of how Sukuna would fare against some of the lower level devils. Like, if we're, not to say that this is how I'm gonna do it, but let's say Sukuna defeats like the Darkness Devil. If Sukuna defeats the Darkness Devil, then yeah, that's kind of, you know, I'm gonna assume he's gonna be able to beat the Angel Devil. No Aging Devil, that's a really good point. Thank you so much for reminding me about the Aging Devil. How could I forget our boy? Let's go ahead, throw him in there. Golly, you know what? You know how nice it is to be a streamer that doesn't have to worry when their fucking Windows file shows up in the window. You know how convenient it is to not be someone that has to freak out when that happens. All right. So, to be completely honest with you, we kind of know how strong a lot of these characters are. And I also don't want to get into crazy debates with some people about, oh, Sukuna is mountain level, Sukuna level is planetary, he's city level. I really don't want to get into any of that crazy stuff with this. We know how strong Sukuna is as an overall idea. We are genuinely like a Jujutsu Kaisen channel first and foremost from the beginning. So a lot of us know what Sukuna is capable of, and what I want to do is I want to compare Sukuna's feats to the devils as we go across them. So mostly what we're going to do on stream is we're going to be scaling where the devils kind of sit, how much power they've shown themselves, and we'll take it from there. Where's the Tomato Devil? Damn, you're right. You know what? I forgot the #1 devil that Sukuna would have lost to on Impact. That's why I kept it out, because the Gauntlet would end too early if I put the Tomato Devil on there. Famine and Little D. No, I don't have Famine and Little D on there just because I have Makima and like Yoru on there. We don't, first of all, Famine is super duper weak right now due to her fear and terror not being at a high enough level to where she's as strong as the other horsemen. And the Death Devil, I just have to assume her power is just instant death to anyone she's interacted with over the last course of time. So it's completely possible that, like, you know, Sukuna versus Death might not even be a fight. Like, Death might just be like, pop, you're dead, right? So, again, I don't know how relevant those conversations would be. We also don't know, you know, what Death's real power looks like. So there's not, it's all just speculation at that point. Anyone who says Sukuna's mountain or planetary is actually brain dead, listen, you know what? Over time, as I made more and more power scaling videos, I've learned that it's just sometimes, man, you know what, taking the hard stance just ain't worth it. Because 9 times out of 10, even if I don't take a hard stance on something, but people are gonna tell me I'm downplaying anyway. So you know what, let people think what they want. Again, thank you to the stream, Gamer Subs, the stream sponsor, Gamer Subs. Use my code NOOP for 10% off your order, or if you've never tried Gamer Subs before and you want a really, really good energy supplement, it's a really, really good energy drink. There's no sugar in it, so you're not gonna crash, which is my favorite part. But yeah, go ahead, click the link, use my code NOOP for 10% off your order, or 10% for free samples. They'll give you free samples. Please just take the free samples. Let them prove to you how good it is. Use my code anyway. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. Let's stop wasting time. Wait, did you know Yuto Suzuki is an Elden Ring player? Oh, that makes so much sense. Of course that makes so much sense. No wonder why he's fucking demented. That scaling was back in early JJK, but we now just call it Extreme Highball. I like the concept of this video though. Hey, thank you, Xenos. I appreciate that. But yeah, I want to start something new for the channel before I get into it, which is I think I want to have like a day where I just stream for a long period of time. I'm thinking about doing Mondays after the Dandadan review. I might, or before the Dandadan review, I might hop on and just play some games. I'm trying to stream more. I'm branching myself out into all these things, and I need to give myself more time to stream, which I need to remember is important too, because I love hanging out with you guys, and that's really super duper fun and a fun part of my job. So I need to do that more often and start making more time to do that. So I really want to make like a stream day, and I'm thinking Monday might be the best day for that. So Trojan X Stream next chapter, I need to do that more too, honestly, genuinely. I need to do more Trojan X content. I'm getting the last Phantom Parade thumbnail. I feel like I've been talking about this Phantom Parade video. For anyone that's been in stream, I feel like I've been talking about this Phantom Parade video for like half a year now. It is finally going to be coming out. I've pinpointed it. It's going to be coming out at the beginning of November. So you guys have something to look forward to when November starts. That's gonna pop out right in the beginning of November. There's 3 parts. There's gonna be one every couple of days. I'm getting the last thumbnail made for it now, and it will be absolutely great. I'm excited to release it. You know, it's been a long time coming, and a lot of time and effort went into this project. So I think you guys will enjoy it. And while that is going on, that will give me a lot of free time to stop, focus, and relax on doing other things and getting myself back into stream time. But anyway, guys, like I said, let's stop wasting time. If you haven't already, let's hit that like button and let's get into it. If you're just popping in now, again, hit that like button. You haven't missed anything, and we're about to get started, y'all. Guard of the Tiger, perfect song to start this off with. All right, let's go. Pochito bonus round. We can. We're gonna have to talk about Pochito right before we get into Hell with the Darkness Devil, because we're gonna have to compare Sukuna to Pochita. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to compare Sukuna to Pochita at some point to figure out how he does against people like Makima, Gun Devil, and everything like that, and Darkness Devil. So let's just jump right into it, y'all. First of all, very quickly, the Zombie Devil is not going to be much of a threat at all. If we're talking like full power, like 20 finger Sukuna who has 4 arms, a mouth, can chant, incant, just not something like the zombie devil is not going to be a significant threat whatsoever. The zombie devil was barely overpowering an entire building. His big thing he's able to make a bunch of NPC zombies to fight off with. Sukuna could literally no diff them, and like they would be like a fun lunch break for him. You know, that's how he would warm up for lunch and get hungry. You know, like that's like a quick 30-minute, you know, stop before brunch. Like the zombie devil is definitely the base level of like, while definitely a threat to most humans and could definitely take over like a large skyscraper at best because it could just continually make more and more zombies. We'll see how a devil like the doll devil is much more scary than something like the zombie devil later on. But right now, the zombie devil really isn't going to be much of a threat, especially because Sukuna's base power is just projectile slashes. Like literally the biggest counter ever. Didn't Sukuna just destroy a whole building with just slashes? Exactly. Like 15-finger Sukuna was like literally throwing hands with Maharaga and Jogo through the entire like city area of Shibuya. And while that's not an entire city range, that is at least multiple city blocks of damage that Sukuna is able to do casually with only 75% of his power. So like without a doubt, like that is nothing compared to even like the Bat or Leech Devil, who, don't get me wrong, are both relatively pretty powerful compared to the Zombie Devil. Like the Bat Devil and Leech Devil do like city block level destructive capacity damage while they're fighting Denji. However, when it comes down to it, not only are a lot of these devils going to be significantly slower than Sukuna at this point, half of them not even probably going faster than like hypersonic speed. Like the Bat Devil and the Leech Devil, while being probably, if I had to compare, like they would definitely be able to like be low level special grade curses. Like these guys are stronger than the Finger Bearer by far. I would even go as far to say like they're probably comparable to like the Smallpox deity. While the Smallpox deity we never saw destructive capacity, that special grade was much more dangerous because of its like domain expansion. You get the idea of like a level of danger, right? Like it would take a grade 1 sorcerer to handle like the Bat and Leech Devil. So I don't want to say that they're weak, but again, if we're talking a 20-finger Sukuna, they are both going to be low diffs completely, considering how easily Sukuna was able to cleave through Ishigori Ryu, who I would have to imagine is just as durable, if not definitely way more so than both the Bat and Leech Devil. Yeah, I've got to say Sukuna would probably slice through them like butter. Like butter, honestly. Is Nanami gonna get cooked by the Bat Devil? No, I think Nanami would win. I think Nanami would be able to win against the Bat Devil, but I think Nanami would definitely have to put in way more effort than like any characters that are special grade level, right? Like I think Nanami would still have a good chance. He'd probably get beaten the fuck up. Like you have to remember, like the Bat Devil shot that little sonic boom and it broke through multiple buildings, and Denji was like distorted and crippled afterwards. So like I think Nanami would have a tough battle, but Nanami would probably come out on top. Now, the one thing that a lot of devils are going to have, the higher class that you get, is going to be like quote unquote immortality or just overall really strong regeneration. Most cursed spirits in Jujutsu Kaisen have high speed regeneration, like compared to the disaster curses who are able to just heal entire limbs, their heads, their bodies like it's nothing. It is relatively comparable to that, if not more so. I mean, I think even Denji had to be cut, had to have his body cut like 27 times before he finally stopped regenerating, and Denji's just a fiend. So devils are strong. I think fiends are supposed to be a little bit better at regeneration than devils. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I might be wrong about that. But either way, the main point that I'm getting at here is because the next major devil that they go up against in the series is the Eternity Devil. And like, while the Eternity Devil probably wouldn't be an issue, a hybrid, I'm sorry, Tiberius, you're right. Hybrid devils are immortal, thank you. The Eternity Devil would definitely get cooked in a fight. However, the Eternity Devil, as we see in the battle against Denji needs to create the perpetual motion machine to beat it. He has to inflict so much damage to the Eternity Devil that the Eternity Devil can no longer withstand the pain and needs to make a contract to let all of the Devil Hunters go. So I definitely think Sukuna would be able to not only do that, but Sukuna would be able to figure it out. Sukuna is one of the strongest characters in the entire series of Jujutsu Kaisen. And I always think of this one moment when Sukuna is going up against Maharaga in Shibuya. And it's one of my favorite manga pages of all time because it shows like how quickly Sukuna's brain works, and like it's like literally like calculating things at like 530,000 IQ speeds, like Toto. I'm trying to see if I can find the manga panel. I might not be able to find it. It's one of my favorite things. But anyway, like the way that Sukuna tests Maharaga, adapts to him, and just like inner monologue and figures out everything he needs to do to get one over on Maharaga and defeat it in one go. Like, it's not like this is a trial and error where like he's an MC in an anime where he loses to somebody and then like has a big emotional development arc and then grows from that and then like overcomes that threat. Like Sukuna downloaded Maharaga mid fucking battle. So like Sukuna would realize he's in the hotel, stuck in it, and say, all right, I just have to domain and kill everything. Exactly, as people are saying in chat. Sukuna literally could just Malevolent Shrine, open barrier, domain, and have the cuts just radiate outwards and continually go over and over and over and over again until Eternity Devil is either nothing left or Eternity Devil spits Sukuna out. So like, I don't know if we would consider that a low diff because Sukuna, you know, might have to actually like expend a little bit more energy, but like I feel like it is a guaranteed win for Sukuna. There's nothing that the Eternity Devil would ever be able to do to even like pose any kind of threat to this man whatsoever. There's just no chance. I think it's between low diff and insta win. I'll give it insta win just because like there literally is no win con for the Eternity Devil. Like even if Sukuna was slow, sick, tired, coughing, and like half blind in one eye, he was missing two of his arms. Like there's like the Eternity Devil, it doesn't stand a fucking chance. And like to be completely honest with you, I really don't think Katana Man, Akane with her Snake Devil, and even if like the Snake Devil was able to throw up Himeno's Ghost Devil, I don't see any of these devils of this level holding a single candle to anything Sukuna can do. Like, granted, these characters are definitely a class above like Bat Devil, Leech Devil, and even Eternity Devil. Like Katana Devil is super duper upgrade when it comes to stats. Katana Devil is a lot stronger. Katana Devil is a lot faster because one, he's like perception blitzing characters like Denji and even other characters as much with his like katana charge, which at least makes him hypersonic, if not faster than that. However, again, even if you want to go with Mach 3 Jujutsu Kaisen, or if you want to go with like faster than lightning speed Jujutsu Kaisen, I still believe, based off of everything we've seen from Sukuna being able to keep up with Maki, even move faster than Maki, Sukuna being declared one of the fastest characters in the series, even on just bare feet in a foot race compared to Yuji, I think Sukuna should at the very least be faster than someone like Katana Man and even Akane Snake Devil that like blips in and out like in a blink of an eye. So overall, when it comes down to just stats, Sukuna just kind of really does handle characters like, first of all, everyone we talked about so far, and then even Katana Man, Akane, and the Ghost Devil. Like, wasn't that even when Sukuna was injured? Yes, literally 100%. So like, Sukuna might be interested and like throw hands like barehanded with like Katana Man really quickly, be like, ooh, like you kind of move faster than everyone in the series so far, and then like he would throw a couple slashes out and Katana Man would die, regenerate, and then like Sukuna would find it interesting, and then he would literally eviscerate Katana Man, and he would just get upset that Katana Man died. He'd be like, oh shit, I killed you on accident, my bad. Like what, like if, you know what I mean? Like he was like a predator playing with prey, and he didn't mean to take it out so soon. Akane with the Snake Devil, I mean, the Snake Devil blips in, eats Sukuna, and then Sukuna just rips out of the Snake Devil, just like Sukuna did to Orochi, Megami Shikigami, at what? 3 fingers? 4 fingers? And again, while I would never compare the Snake Devil to Orochi, like I think the Snake Devil is definitely swinging a lot higher than fucking Fear of Cursed Womb Arc Megami's Orochi. I still think Sukuna 20 fingers Heian level power would just. So yeah, let's just, you know, like, are these still instant wins? Or would we just consider these low diffs? Like they're low diffs. The Ghost Devil, not a problem. If it's ripping through the Snake Devil, that's something that the Ghost Devil could not do. So I'm going to have to imagine the Ghost Devil's not going to be a problem. Someone like Katana Devil still requires blood to regen. Very true, which means his regeneration is very lackluster. So yeah, yeesh. That's even worse. I might even, based off of that, I might even say that we're still at low diff. We're still at insta win. We're still at literally no win con whatsoever. I see Tiberius has already moved way ahead. Low diffs just because it's still going to be an interesting fight for Sukuna. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know though. Because, like, I even think with all of the power that they bring, with Sukuna's reverse curse technique, they'd never be able to do enough damage to him to even come as close to, like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I honestly think it's still insta-win. I think Sukuna is still fucking no-diffing them. I think low diff means Sukuna just needs to put in a bit of effort into it, or it takes a bit longer. Yeah, Sukuna would have to put in a base amount of effort to at least take them out. I guess what would it be? It'd be the difference between like Sukuna taking out the my bad, I'm hyped for the movie Thursday. Me too. I'm so pumped. I can't wait. I should buy my tickets. But anyway, like if we're saying that, like, you know, we're reaching city block to maybe multi-city block level with these characters, definitely reaching multi-city block, if not potentially even high, multiple city block to even maybe low town level with like Rize and Typhoon. Yeah, okay, I'll say low diff because they're definitely a little bit better. They could at least damage Sukuna. You're right. Low diff makes sense. Low diff makes sense because I definitely think beings like the Typhoon Devil and Rize are probably holding a much larger candle just based off of their destructive capability. So like Rize's bombs and also the Typhoon Devil's ability that literally just rips through entire towns and caused entire disaster catastrophes. I would have to imagine the Typhoon Devil is probably just a walking Jogo meteor, right? Like Jogo's maximum attack was enough to just destroy multiple city blocks and eviscerate a large portion of Shibuya. Not all of Shibuya, but a large portion of it. How much damage did the Typhoon Devil do? You know, how much damage did that thing do? Crazy. Extremely strong to destroy buildings just by running through them. The wind created by his spinning bodies was strong enough to make people cars and fly. Generates a storm by spinning through their guts. Crazy. Do I have to go to the versus battle wiki, maybe? What is that? What does that say? Snake Devil's Snoot Droop. Yeah, so this is even saying that the snake is multi-city block. I just wanted a Typhoon Devil. Let's see, Rize. Rize has to have her own page, I would imagine. Yeah, thought so. Large building level plus? What, dog? I would think she's stronger than that. I would have to imagine she's stronger than that. What do y'all think? What are you guys saying in chat? Rize and Typhoon's a big jump, mid-diff, quote, typing curse, typing devil. Does the low diff tier mean Sukuna wins low diff or gets low diff? Sukuna wins low diff. Sukuna wins low diff. Yeah, I have to imagine the Typhoon Devil was just ripping through and like, I would say like we're bordering on multiple, very high multiple city block to close to town level at this point. I definitely think while Rize probably doesn't have as much destructive capability. I can't talk today. While Rize doesn't have as much destructive capability as the Typhoon Devil does, she probably has just as much of attack potency packing in all of her attacks. I mean, she's able to blow up humongous large portions and do major damage to people. So I think at the very least, if we're going to be giving these characters like their highest bald interpretation, I think Sukuna definitely still wins pretty easily. But I do agree with what Abunandu is saying, where Sukuna is the worst matchup for the Typhoon Devil. Just because Denji beat him just by swinging his Keitos and cutting his core. Sukuna can just do that easily. Exactly. And if Sukuna can't get through all of the craziness, Sukuna, as we described with the Eternity Devil, can just domain, even if that's OD, just to ensure there's a guaranteed win. Rize, I think, is probably like the closest thing that Sukuna would be able to do to like have fun. Like Rize would definitely be a much better combatant than Katana Man would, without a doubt. Because remember, Denji, after training with Kishibe, pretty much, you know, was fighting Katana Man and able to trick him and beat him. Whereas no matter what, like, they were barely able to stop Rize. Rize, just on her own, was such a huge threat against public safety. Doesn't Sukuna have the fire arrow? 100% Sukuna has the fire arrow, but I don't even think we need to go that far right now. I think we haven't. I honestly don't think Sukuna will need to use the fire arrow until we probably reach like one of the primal fears, because at that point, with the primal fears not being capable of being destroyed by anything man created except so far nuclear weapons, I think Fuga is literally Sukuna's only chance of winning when it comes to primal fears. So I think Typhoon Devil is definitely still a low diff. The thing is, I think, so here's the thing. I think Rize would be a low diff still, but I think it would be like a Higuruma Hiromi low diff, right? Like where Sukuna would be throwing hands with Rize and be like, oh, you're interesting. What's your name? Oh, Rize. All right. Let's see you dodge this, and just like fucking starts throwing everything he has at her and starts taking it up a notch just because he finds her fun to play around with. Like, I think like compared to all of the characters here, like the Jogo fight, I would probably, That's a good question. Here, let's ask this. Let's you know what? That's actually a really good question, y'all. Chat. What do you guys think? If you were to go with Jogo or Rize, who would you say is stronger? That's a really good question. I think is really important. If you were to compare Jogo and Rize neck and neck, who do you think would win in that fight? And honestly, that really determines everything. Because if you guys are putting Jogo above Rize, then I'm gonna have to put Rize in the low diff. Rize's faster, isn't she? Rize should be, if we're going to go based off of the idea. So versus Battle Wiki, it does, in my opinion, have lower speed for Rize. They claim she's only around Supersonic Plus, which is at the very least around like, you know, like faster than a bullet. But in my opinion, I think just based off of how the Snake Devil works, how Katana Man works, I think those characters are very clearly hypersonic level, and I would probably put Rize at similar speed to characters like that. So I would still put Rize on the upper. Rize's probably faster than Jogo, I would say. Probably not too much faster, not like a huge amount faster than Jogo, but still pretty fast. Because Jogo is, like you said, Jogo is one of the fastest characters of the curses as well. I think Jogo has a W on Rize just based off of like area of effect. I think Sukuna just, I think Jogo has a much larger area of like, you know, fight, like his fire, his lava, his meteor. I feel like it covers way more ground. I feel like Jogo and Rize would be a really good fight, but I feel like Jogo has an advantage. Those firebugs are pretty demonic as well. I gotta give it to Jogo. Yeah, that meteor is too slow, I feel. He has a better AoE he can use. I agree. Both have relatively around the same amount of destructive power. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I've gotta say, like, all right. Hold on. Low diff plus. I think low diff plus just because I'm adding the plus just because genuinely I think it's a low diff to the point that she is definitely the best challenge out of everyone in the low diff setting. But to the point where I think, like I said, I think Sukuna would find her interesting just because she would probably be the best fight he's had so far. And again, her hybrid powers do help her, you know, regenerate, but she does need blood. She's not like a free base regeneration like Jogo. Jogo and the curses do have better regeneration. So yeah. I think just based off the fact that Jogo would win against Rize, I think it's very clear that I can't put Rize in mid diff if that's the case. It would definitely just be another Jogo fight indeed. I think they have relative firepower, but Jogo seems more versatile. I completely agree. I think that's definitely the case. I think that's definitely the case. Didn't 15 Finger Sukuna say it would do damage to him if the meteorite hit? Yeah, 100%. But also, I mean, 20 Finger Sukuna full power is going to have reverse curse technique on a level that's definitely going to be able to deal with that. She does have a certain amount of regen to a point where she you know, she blew up her head at the start and regrew. Yeah, no, 100%. That's why I think, like I said, I think it would be like a Higuruma Hiromi low diff. It'd be a Higuruma Hiromi low diff. It'd be like, oh, what's your name? I'm still cooking your ass though, right? So anyway, to move on, now we go into the International Assassins arc, and a lot of these devils, at least the first two, are mostly going to be if their gimmick would be enough to end the battle very quickly. However, for starters, I think for one, there's going to be two different ways that Sukuna, you know, handles these two threats. because obviously the cursed devil is just, you know, supposed to be a one and done, you're dead, you're cooked. However, we've also seen that not be the case. So I honestly think it's pretty likely Sukuna might survive the curse. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Sukuna would survive the cursed devil? I probably think so. I'm curious what chat thinks. Sukuna could beat with the cursed devil, have control of his powers. So I'm just gonna go based off of Sukuna in the middle of the International Assassins arc gets clipped on accident by the curse nail. So this is literally just asking the question: would Sukuna die from the cursed devil? Even if Sukuna, let's say Sukuna does get hit 3 times, they're able to. So International Assassins arc turns into International Assassin against Sukuna arc. They're not all against Denji, they're all against Sukuna. And they are actually able to trick him into getting him 3 times. The cursed Diablo seems to only inflict mortal injuries since both Katana and Denji ended up surviving it. That's what I kind of think. Both those characters are technically immortal, but like I feel like Sukuna this is also the same character that supposedly just looked right into Mahito's idol transfiguration and said, "Nuh-uh, never mind." Like, Sukuna has been shown to live getting stabbed through the heart, and again, like, Sukuna has shown the ability to just override certain, like, you know, just insta-death moves. Like, there realistically should have been no reason for Sukuna to just overpower idol transfiguration like he does. Obviously, having the boundaries of the souls and understanding it and being able to maintain the shape so much that Mahito can't even distort it, and so much so that he stuns Mahito for a moment. Like, I would have to imagine, like, Sukuna would be like, oh, interesting. And, like, it would try to get him, and then Sukuna would just turn around and break the curse. I don't know. It doesn't seem to go for the head. It does seem to go for the arms. It targets their arms in a cross position and then bites into their shoulders and necks. So I guess it does bite into their necks, but we've seen Sukuna withstand neck attacks before. Like, it doesn't seem to decapitate you, right? They both died and only survived because they got revived. Their regular regeneration didn't save them, so I don't know if regen saves Sukuna. This is up in the air. I guess it really just depends, honestly. I don't want to spend too much time on it. You get the question mark tier. Because there's I could see arguments for Sukuna just ignoring it and being able to no diff the curse after Sukuna gets his hands on it. I could also see arguments for nope, it's insta death, you're cooked. So yeah, Cursed Devil is a very odd hacks indeed. Can't promise anything. Now, the Doll Devil, I really don't see. While the Doll Devil could definitely turn Sukuna into a doll instantly, I think, again, just based off of Sukuna's base intelligence and his battle IQ, he would not only be able to see the, the doll outbreak and be able to immediately figure out, just like everybody else did that had any kind of sense, that, oh shit, the moment that this person touches you, you turn into a doll. I'm going to domain expansion and just malevolent shrine literally everything in the area until there's no dolls left. Like, I feel like he would very much easily be able to, like, read the situation, get the fuck out of anybody's fucking range, and then just boom. Cooked. Sukuna would never allow anyone to touch him even in the first place. Yeah, exactly. I think the Doll Devil, while I put low diff just because, again, there is a potential if he does get touched, I think it's very unlikely Sukuna will get touched whatsoever. We're talking base Doll Devil. Yeah, base Doll Devil. Completely. Base Doll Devil. I mean, you do have, like, the Santa Claus Darkness Devil, but again, I think if we're going to talk about the actual Darkness Devil as a whole, I think it just makes sense. I think it just makes sense to just skip that and just talk about the Darkness Devil in general. The only reason Santa Claus Darkness Devil form exists is because the Darkness Devil was way too much for the actual protagonist to handle, and the story needed a way for them to win somehow with only a fraction of the Darkness Devil's power. So yeah, I think just because we have regular Darkness Devil on here, I think it just makes more sense to, you know, stick with Darkness Devil and stick with base Doll. So up next we have the Hell Devil. Now, the Hell Devil is relatively hard to scale just because while multiple public safety members thought the Hell Devil would have been enough to just completely and entirely bring Makima down into hell for good, Pochita also one-shots the Hell Devil completely. Chainsaw Man denied him any scaling whatsoever. Yeah, entirely, 100%. So while the Hell Devil is definitely meant to be a very strong devil because it requires multiple human sacrifices to even summon, and it's also capable of just bringing anything down into hell, I think what makes more sense is to try and understand exactly where Pochita was in that moment and where Pochita was at a level of power, because not only will it be important to see how Sukuna would compare to someone like Pochita and how easily he would be able to one-shot the Hell Devil if this was the case, I think comparing Sukuna to Pochita here also gives us a great idea of how Sukuna will do going forward, not just up against the Primal Fears, but also up against someone like Makima, who has we have seen her go up against someone like Pochita. Now, without a doubt, when it comes to someone like Pochita, Pochita is one of the fastest characters and strongest characters, most durable characters, most capable of regenerating characters, endurance, all of the stats you could possibly give. Pochita is one of the most powerful. And this isn't even the full power that we have seen of Pochita. Now, the thing is, Pochita is like one-shotting all of the Weapon Devils, one-shotting the Hell Devil, one-shotting Makima, killing her, even though you consider one-shotting Makima isn't really one-shotting Makima, right? Because Makima can just come back very easily. But it was implied that Pochita is able to kill all of the devils, able to kill the Nuclear War Devil in its prime, which again, the Nuclear War Devil is stronger than all Primal Fears, and by gaining its power, Yoru was able to no-diff the Falling Devil. So, again, even if this is just a fraction of Pochita's power, if we're assuming that it is stronger than it's able to one-shot Rize no problem, similar to how Sukuna would be able to, I have to imagine that Pochita would probably be able to do very, very close to that. And also, in part 2, Now, you could argue that this Chainsaw Man may have been a little bit powered up by the fear of Chainsaw Man, although I would argue that the Fire Devil and Justice Devil were stealing all of that energy, and this Pochita is still about the same level of power it was back in part 1, although I'm sure people would argue with me. We have seen this Pochita be able to cut through primal fears and actually kill them, even though they regenerate afterwards. We've seen him just as easily go through, you know, Katana Man, you know, the Nail Devil, Quan Chi. It easily erased, you know, like the Ear, Octopus, and Snow and Bitterness Devils. And on top of that, it's now fighting Yoru, who has the Nuclear War Devils, even though I would argue that, you know, this Chainsaw Man is probably a little bit more powerful. But either way, I think it's fair to say Pochita is probably breaking town level to maybe multiple town, if not city level. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Pochita, you know, town level Pochita or maybe higher is too much, too high, or too low? Let's ask. Let's ask. He's city. Everyone throw your votes in. What up, Mikey? You small city? I think that actually might genuinely be the case. And yeah, it seems like Pochita might be faster. Pochita was like, you know, ready for the gun goddess, which is like an insane amount of power, because I think the Russians had more of the gun devil, didn't they? And then that also had the gun goddess, which was also extra gun devil power inside of the United States. Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, 28% was transformed by Yoru. So that's even stronger than the 20% gun devil that went against Makima. Sheesh. And then the gun goddess. Hold on. That doesn't have a wiki page right now, but yeah, insane. So that's 28%. And also the gun goddess, which I think is more. And Yoru's not even full power yet, most likely, which is nuts. He chucked his heart from space. What's the scaling from that? For, I don't know, that's mostly like a speed scaling feat. Like, it shows that he's able to throw his heart like insanely fast, probably like at the speed of like lightning at the very least, or close to it. So when it comes down to speed, Pochita's going to be relatively close, if not maybe even faster than Sukuna. Definitely going to be keeping up with him, no problem. Pochita versus Sukuna was conscientious up until the gun goddess moment, right? That might be the case. How high does Fuga scale? So Fuga, destructive capacity wise, is definitely like small city, low, like large town, if not, you know, small city. But however, attack potency wise, it probably may scale even higher than that. At the very least, I'm willing to say that Fuga may rival nuclear weapons worth of strength, just for the case of Sukuna dealing with primal fears. Some people may argue that's too high, some people may argue that's too low. But I think at the very least, I would compare Sukuna's fire arrow to a nuclear weapon. It's also like meant to be instant incineration and death. Like, you literally, if you get caught in the domain expansion version, it's literally like a combustion pressure cooker that just eviscerates you and incinerates you till there's nothing left. Like, you just basically, might not be the correct word, but you essentially vaporize. How would domain amplification work against the devils? It probably wouldn't work against them. It might help, like as Tiberius said earlier, may help dampen damage, like against like characters like Rize's explosions, or like maybe like blunting Pochita's like chainsaws, stuff like that. but like if they're strong enough, they'll still cut through him. So yeah, I'm gonna say at the very least, when it comes to Black Chainsaw, Pochita, and then Sukuna, even from part 1, part 2, going up against the, you know, again, Yoru, the gun goddess, everything like that, his ability against the aging devil, what he's done, what he's currently doing against Yoru, what he did against Makima, all the weapon devils, everything like that. I think it's safe to say if we're putting Black Chainsaw Man Pochita over Sukuna, then when it comes down to Sukuna versus the Hell Devil, it may not be as easy for Sukuna to defeat the Hell Devil. So while Pochita kind of, you know, no diffs it, I think it's safe to say the Hell Devil would probably be, even though we don't have any concrete scaling for it, I would have to say, just based off of what's implied to be the Hell Devil's level of power, I don't think, while Pochita kind of low diffs it, one-shots it, I think if we're arguing Sukuna, I'm sorry, I think if we're arguing Pochita's attack potency may rival, if not maybe outcompare Sukuna's fire arrow. A thermobaric bomb, not a nuclear bomb. So even if both look similar in size, it's a huge difference in power itself. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. If they look different in size, it's still the attack potency within, even though the size may not be there. I would definitely, I don't know if I would say it's as easy of a low diff, especially if we're putting Black Chainsaw Man Pochita over Sukuna. I just realized we've been talking about this and it's not even on the tier list. The reason why we had to talk about this is because it gives us an idea for where Sukuna sits compared to Pochita, right? Because now we have a much better idea of where Sukuna is standing against these remaining heavy hitters that we have left, right? We now have the Darkness Devil, the Gun Devil, 20% at least, right? We have Makima, the Falling Devil, the Aging Devil, and Yoru all coming up. So again, if we're implying that Black Chainsaw Pochita is stronger than Sukuna at full power, and at the very least, while he's able to beat the Hell Devil, he's not able to just one-shot it like he is able to just, you know, like Pochita is able to. He has to put in some effort, like maybe, like imagine the Hell Devil. I would have to say if the Hell Devil, again, is comparable, is stronger than the Weapon Devils, but weaker than the Primal Fears, I would say this is like, I would compare the Hell Devil maybe to like Maharaga. Like definitely a high special grade curse. For sure. High special grade disaster level curse without a doubt. Here's where it comes down to. Because while Sukuna does indeed have a win condition on Primal Fears, the biggest issue is going to be getting the fire arrow off. Because remember, at this point, if we're assuming that all of these characters are relatively at even like half the power of Pochita at this point, as far as it comes down to speed, as far as it comes down to attack potency, all of these Primal Fears are at the very least, you know, large town to city level. They're rivaling Sukuna in attack power. And on top of that, they're most likely going to rival him in speed as well. I could probably see some people saying Sukuna would still be faster. And even if it is the case, their powers are what's going to be humongous and make the power gap large. Because Darkness Devil, the thing is with Darkness Devil, if Sukuna is fighting the Darkness Devil in hell, I just don't see any chance in hell for this man to win. Sukuna would definitely put up a very, very, very hard fight. He's got domain expansion. He's got great projectile slashes. He could rip right through Darkness Devil and definitely do damage. I mean, even Makima is able to wound Darkness Devil with her finger bang. However, the Darkness Devil's true power, as we see a fraction of it be used with Santa Claus, the Darkness Devil is essentially immortal and can regenerate endlessly and basically just have pure immortality as long as it's in darkness. And as we saw in the battle with the Darkness Devil in Hell, the Darkness Devil was essentially able to cover almost all of Hell with darkness. To the point that Sukuna's 200-meter domain expansion is not going to come anywhere close to how far Darkness Devil's reach expands. Sukuna will not only be able to completely encompass the darkness in the Malevolent Shrine, even if he uses domain expansion Fuga, which, again, if we're giving it the at least comparable power to a nuclear weapon, it should at the very least be able to kill a primal fear, right? Again, even if you give that level of power, the Darkness Devil can just regenerate inside of the darkness. As long as it is inside darkness, it is going to win. Now, if Sukuna is able to start doing things, again, we have to also remember that Sukuna is a smart guy. Sukuna is very smart. He could potentially use the fire arrow, not just outside of his domain expansion, but use it in a way to fire it off, and then, as Denji did, cast a large enough light to make the Darkness Devil vulnerable, and then potentially, you know, open up a large enough of an area of light to trap the Darkness Devil in, and then kill the Darkness Devil once it's stuck in the light. Now, again, the issue is not only will the Darkness Devil have range over Sukuna, as plenty of people are talking about, the Darkness Devil also has, as many people have mentioned, random bullshit go, which is the Darkness Devil just erasing people's arms and erasing their limbs and making them pop off, and then they're gone. Sure, Sukuna can just reverse curse technique and bring them back, but where we have the Darkness Devil, who is, you know, forever as long as there's darkness, we have Sukuna, who has, yes, the largest amount of curse energy in his entire series, but at the same time has a limit compared to the Darkness Devil, who has none. Do I think it's and a sword that makes you hemorrhage entirely? Yeah. Do I think there is a possibility that Sukuna might be able to win? If we give Sukuna the most generous possible level of intelligence, the most generous possible of adaptability, and the most generous possible circumstances, maybe, again, he can pull something off with Fire Arrow, a Binding Vow, and get Darkness Devil good enough. However, if we're to assume that that whole fire shenanigans that Denji used only really worked because Santa Claus had a fraction of the darkness's power and not all of it, it might just be no chance. Also, on top of that, you know, even if Darkness Devil was outside of Hell, I think the level of darkness that the devil can bring just means that this is a primal fear that I just don't think Sukuna would be able to win. Would Sukuna in Megami's body win against the Darkness Devil? See, the thing is Meguna, I probably would say might actually have a better chance of giving Sukuna a W. I still think Sukuna's at a massive disadvantage, like an extreme disadvantage. But if Sukuna is able to last and survive long enough to play his cards right to adapt, that is a much better win condition than Sukuna, again, throwing the fire arrow off and hoping that creates enough of a win condition light area where he can kill the Darkness Devil in. Like, I think Sukuna with Maharaga has a much better chance to survive and adapt than, you know, with Sukuna without Maharaga. But I still think the Darkness Devil, I think it's still like a 90% win chance for the Darkness Devil. You know, it's normally a 99.9, then there's 90%. Now, next up, yeah, Meguna has to survive long enough to adapt. It's very unlikely. The Darkness Devil just has ridiculous hacks. Just absolutely ridiculously obscene hacks. I mean, there are still people that comment, you know, on my Gojo video, which again, go check out the Gojo video if you haven't seen it. It's one of my favorite videos personally. I really like it. Hold on. Definitely go check it out. How long would Gojo survive in Chainsaw Man? I made it like a year ago, but it still has pretty much all of the same devils and everything that I'm going through right now. Shows how little, you know, part 2 is, you know, progressed. Besides like the aging devil, that might be the only one that's missing. But yeah, go check out this video. But yeah, even for Gojo, the Darkness Devil was pretty much a guaranteed loss, because like the thing is a lot of people brought up like Unlimited Void. However, yeah, just even Unlimited Void, the thing is the Darkness Devil is a primal fear, like an Eldritch Horror. There's not even a guarantee Unlimited Void would scramble the Darkness Devil enough to like actually do lasting damage. We don't even understand how the Darkness Devil's physiology and how its essence and existence even is. It literally made its body out of just dead astronauts in the area. So like I think it's kind of hard to say that the Unlimited Void would just scramble its brain. And also, on top of that, even if you want to give the argument that it would scramble its brain, if you're arguing that Hollow Purple isn't going to be enough to kill the Darkness Devil, because again, Hollow Purple is just a very strong curse energy attack compared to Fuga, which literally is like a thermonuclear shit. So yeah, I think Fuga is the more powerful attack compared to Hollow Purple. That might be controversial. Actually, let's throw a poll here. I'm curious what you guys all think. Hollow Purple is heavily overrated. Based. That's an absolutely based comment. So yeah, isn't there a Roach Devil? There might be, but honestly, at this point, again, we're talking about primal fears that, like, you know, at this point, like, if we're mid-diffing the Hell Devil, I think the Roach Devil isn't going to stand much of a chance. Kurorushi versus the Roach Devil would be funny, yeah. Would Cosmo be unaffected by Unlimited Void since they already have knowledge of everything? That's a really good fucking point. Probably. Gojo versus Cosmo is probably like one of the greatest versus battles of all time. What would you rather have your brain scrambled by? Only think of Halloween, or just you have everything and nothing at the same time? What up, Gray? Purple's the better attack because it's a fact that it's an easier setup. I think that's a fair argument, honestly, Gray. So, getting back into the Gun Devil. This is going to be 20% of the Gun Devil's power. So this is going to be the exact Gun Devil that went up against Makima. And I have to say, once again, I won't lie to you, I think Meguna probably has a better chance in this fight than full power Heian Sukuna does. Because here's the thing. The Gun Devil's power is absolutely ungodly ridiculous. And let me tell you why. The Gun Devil's Bullet Storm is so powerful that it, I mean, let me just let's just read. Let's just read it. So, the Gun Devil is able to fire bullets using the several guns which are parts of its body with great precision and speed. It is able to fire a bullet through the head of every adult male within approximately 1 kilometer of it, fire a bullet through the head of every child up to 12 years old within approximately 1,500 meters, and fire a bullet through the heart of every living thing born in January, February, March, May, June, August, September, November, or December. Mark yourself safe if you survive the Gun Devil. I did not. I got fucking shot because I got hit in August. And approximately 1,000 meters of himself. As a fiend, it's, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, just to be clear, so 1 kilometer, how many meters? That is 1,000 meters. So, we are 5 times the range of Sukuna's maximum domain expansion. 5 times the range of Sukuna's max domain expansion range. So Sukuna is, so Gun Devil is right now 5 times the range of Malevolent Shrine outside of Sukuna's distance, able to not only shoot multiple bullets to the head of Sukuna, but it's also, again, it's passive. It's literally passive abilities that are going on. So not only is the Gun Devil constantly ricocheting and shooting off bullets that are going to be aimed right at Sukuna's head. Do we have dude, is there a birthday? Do we have a birthday for Sukuna? Sukuna's official birthday is November 1st. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if this is true. What's our source here? What's our source here, Google AI? We don't know it. Okay, fair enough. What's the birthday of the real Sukuna? God damn it, the legendary figure doesn't have anything. November 1st, 794, according to some fan wikis and character profiles. Okay, so yeah, no, not true. Not guaranteed. Not guaranteed. November 1st, trust me, bro. If the Gun Devil is just shooting regular bullets, that would do less than nothing. Well, the thing is, though, is for one, the bullets are at the very least strong enough to rip through Makima's head, and Makima is also, you know, a very strong devil, so they're strong enough to kill Makima, and yeah, it does not shoot regular bullets. Those bullets are not regular. Those bullets are very fucking strong. And yeah, so I think it's very clear the bullets that the Gun Devil uses are strong enough to... Makima got your headshot with a regular gun. I mean, I guess that's fair, but again, like, the Gun Devil is firing off pieces of its flesh. The Gun Devil mowed down multiple cities in a matter of seconds when it was at 100%. It also mowed down multiple, like, large portions of ground when it was just fighting Makima. Aki 47 was a weakened form, and he caused even more destruction than Rize. I think that's definitely very important, Abinandu, to bring up 110%. Also, even Kenjaku mentions that bullets are a very good, you know, way to fight against sorcerers. Even Kenjaku himself mentions that bullets are pretty capable of fighting sorcerers. Like, this is arguing that, like, if Nobara was to get shot with an actual bullet, headshot with an actual bullet, she wouldn't die. Like, you know, Sukuna I'm not saying Sukuna would just get headshot by, like, a rifle and die instantly, but, like, you know, he'd probably be able to block it from hitting his brain with cursed energy at the last second. But the thing is this is a constant bullet storm, a constant bullet volley that's not only going directly at his head and his heart, potentially, based off of whatever month he was born. It's also going to be firing at multiple other people in the vicinity that all meet those conditions, which means there's going to be not just a line of bullets that are massively and constantly firing at Sukuna, there's going to be a massive array and storm of bullets that are firing everywhere that, again, were enough to kill 1.2 million people in various countries across the world. Sure, that was 100% of its power, but again, even at 20%, it did pretty significant fucking damage. The helicopter head guy tanks several shots from a 50 cal. Yes, 110%. I definitely understand what you're saying for that, 110%. But it's not. But you also remember that's helicopter head using the helicopter and blocking it with his head, helicopter head. And also at the same time, Sukuna's gonna get overwhelmed entirely. I don't want to get too, you know, bogged down on how powerful the bullets would be or how many bullets Sukuna would be able to survive, because the truth is it ultimately doesn't matter, because the storm of bullets is going to be too much for Sukuna to even do anything. Because again, it's not just multiple bullets that are going for Sukuna, there's multiple bullets that are going for the entire area all around him. It's a passive ability that's just firing off constantly. And on top of that, that doesn't even include what the Gun Devil is able to fire at Sukuna actively. Because again, those abilities that are destroying so many areas and destroying everything like across the way, the Gun Devil is also able to shoot its own bullets, you know, like on top of that, that can also track where Sukuna is going outside that. So he wants, if the Gun Devil wants to fire a whole bullet volley at Sukuna's limbs as he's running, like it's more so like, it's more so not so much that Sukuna is weak, so weak that he died to a bullet. It's so much so that Sukuna would just literally be overwhelmed to the point there'd literally be no way for him to do anything. I think the start distance matters a lot. The start distance does matter a lot, but the thing is the Gun Devil should be just as fast, if not maybe a little bit slower than Sukuna, depending on how fast you think Sukuna goes and how fast you think the Gun Devil goes. I mean, the Gun Devil was able to travel a significant portion of time just in 5 seconds. Like that battle with Makima and the Gun Devil was literally like a 12-second battle. Like, it's insane how fast the Gun Devil is able to move across the world. And so, like, it's very clear that, like, the Gun Devil also doesn't have to stay in one spot. The Gun Devil can literally also, if Sukuna's running or trying to gain ground, the Gun Devil can also just start, like, hovering backwards as it's doing its passive and active bullets. Yeah, the Gun Devil probably, if you're honest, depending on where you put these characters' speeds, like even if you want to say the Gun Devil's faster, Sukuna's faster, the point is the Gun Devil doesn't have to stand still. The Gun Devil can back up and just continue firing its bullet storm and not stop its bullet storm while Sukuna is doing its best to try and survive. There's just absolutely no chance in hell a full power Sukuna is able to stop the Gun Devil. Funnily, wait, couldn't Sukuna survive without his heart? But then again, these are headshots, so I think it would be effective. Yeah, because the thing is even Kashimo admits the brain is tied to all reverse curse techniques. So if Sukuna's brain does get, even if Sukuna's brain takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, on that 20th bullet that finally pierces his brain when his reverse curse technique stops, that's game over for Sukuna. The Gun Devil is literally aiming for Sukuna's weak point every single time. To be completely honest with you, like Meguna, I think is better at fighting the 20% Gun Devil, because Meguna can at least hide in the shadows and gain ground that way. And also Meguna again has Maharaga. So like it's crazy how like I understand why Sukuna was so interested in the 10 shadows, because everyone is always like, oh, Sukuna needed the 10 shadows to beat Gojo. Sukuna would have never beaten Gojo without 10 shadows. Sukuna thought the 10 shadows was crazy because holy shit, this ability is fucking insane. I can use Shikigami with the shadows and I can do all of this. Like, he saw all of these things that Megumi could do, and Sukuna would be like, hell yeah. Yeah, the Gun Devil definitely massively outweighs the destructive capacity of both Sukuna and Gojo by far. Maybe it doesn't outweigh the attack potency, but the Gun Devil definitely outweighs the destructive capability by far. Hey man, love your videos. Who wins, Meguna or Gojo and Yuta? Meguna or Gojo and Yuta? I mean, like, Gojo is at a disadvantage when he fights with other people just because he has the potential to hurt other people. So, like, that's the toughest thing about it. I actually really don't know. Could Sukuna use Malevolent Shrine defensively? That's a very, very good question. Like, if he could just summon Malevolent Shrine to projectile slash, like, around him, like, it's almost like he was using Malevolent Shrine as, like, a Byakuya Senbon Zakura, where, like, Sukuna has a Slash Storm slashing around him as fast as it can to block all of the bullets just as fast as they come in, so it gives Sukuna, like, almost like a domain amplification or a simple domain as he's like trying to gain ground on the Gun Devil. I could see that. I definitely think I could see that, but again, I think with the Gun Devil's speed comparing with Sukuna and the fact that the Gun Devil can just back up, and also the Gun Devil is also going to be causing massive damage to the surrounding area around him, not just Sukuna itself. It's going to be causing explosions into the ground by hitting the city, causing debris. It's gonna be blowing power line. Maharaga and the 10 Shadows technique is much more fit for the Gun Devil, but Sukuna just on his own, I think actually has less of a chance. Funnily enough, Gun Devil is the ultimate zoner indeed. Now, up next we have Makima, and Makima is an interesting fight, to be honest with you, just because, for one, Makima's immortality is different than most other characters' immortality in a very sense that every single time she dies, that death is then sent to another Japanese citizen instead. However, the thing is, Sukuna, in my opinion, just overpowers Makima in a certain sense. Like, I think while Makima is strong, Makima has a lot of devils at her disposal to use. Like, the Control Devil definitely has some of the best, like, devil powers that she's able to abuse. But to be honest with you, I just don't see Makima, especially with seeing how Makima handled the fight against Pochita. Even though Sukuna we're going with isn't as strong as full power as Pochita, I still think Sukuna would be able to fight Makima to a decent degree. Also, on top of that, the thing is I think Sukuna would actually be able to accomplish a win against Makima the same way, like, ironically, that Denji kind of did, just because Sukuna would simply be able to fire arrow after Malevolent Shrining and just leave nothing behind of Makima. She would not be able to regenerate the exact same way that Denji eats her. Like, she would probably be reborn from hell as Nayuta still. But I think Sukuna's domain, and also because the fire arrow quite literally incinerates everything, that's a win con for Sukuna. However, as people are saying, Makima was able to, you know, shoot Pochita into the sky with her finger bang. However, we also have to remember that Black Chainsaw Man Pochita is, like, not the same kind of intelligent battler that Sukuna might be. Right? Like, Sukuna might also be, like, willing to dodge those finger bangs, or just, like, or also, like, Sukuna's gonna do his best to not get blown into space, right? Makima only loses because Denji eats her out of love. Is that like a data book thing, or is that something like I don't think I've ever heard that before, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed that. Maybe I missed that part, to be honest with you. I never knew that was a thing. By killing her in order to end her misery, which he viewed as a form of love rather than an attack. Okay, you're right. Okay. No, I wasn't denying that. I just honestly, I'd never heard that before, but that makes sense. Okay, so then no, so Sukuna wouldn't be able to fulfill that condition. However, I also don't think Sukuna cares about killing Makima until all of Japan has no one left. That's what Denji assumes when he talks to Kishibe, but they actually don't know for sure. He also says he could feel her trying to regenerate in his stomach. Would she be able to see his slashes, and would Sukuna be able to see the finger bangs? Or who would have a better chance at seeing the other's ability? I don't know if either of them would be able to see the other's ability, but remember, like, you also have Sukuna who's able to react to, like, the sparks of cursed energy, and also if he gets hit with the finger bang once, you kind of know that, like, as soon as Makima starts aiming her finger at you, you just kind of got to block the air blasts, right? Like, I think Sukuna would be able to not see, but be able to interpret and perceive that. What up, your boy Plank? Does Sukuna have the energy reserves to kill Makima 126 million times? It also depends on, like, how many deaths would Fuga count as? If Sukuna completely incinerates Makima where there's no single pieces of her left, would cutting Makima into 10,000 pieces and then eviscerating all of those pieces count as 10,000 deaths, or would it only count as one death still? Fujimoto deliberately tries to keep things vague, which makes power scaling hard. I completely agree. Carl, thank you for the 10. I appreciate that. Thank you for the dono. I've got use Malevolent Shrine defensively. Constant slashes blocking bullets will build up the fire arrow, and then Sukuna launches the fire arrow at the gun devil from a distance. Would that work? Potentially. That would probably literally be, Carl, literally his only fucking win con if that was the case. Like, that's like, if the gun devil versus Sukuna is like a 99 to 1% chance, that's the 1% chance. It's just lethal blows, so every slash of his domain would be a cleave, basically. But when Makima was destroyed by multiple gun devil bullets, it counted only as one death. Every fatal slash resets contract. I would have to say, and the thing is that also gives Sukuna a massive advantage. Is Sukuna very clearly, Sukuna's mindset is instantly gonna downplay Makima's control. There's no way, shape, or world where Sukuna would ever view himself as a lower being to someone like Makima, no matter how the battle went. Makima, even, it's just, I don't think Makima's controllability definitely wouldn't work against Sukuna. So I think for her, she's actually at the disadvantage in the fight, mostly just because most of her powers and her abilities aren't gonna do much, and even if the finger bang and force manipulation and, like, she has human sacrifices to crush Sukuna with, I mean, like, she definitely has win conditions. I would probably put Makima as like a high diff, or maybe like a 50-50. I think 50-50 is probably best. It could honestly go either way. He's way too strong for her to feel superior to him outright. Yeah, exactly. We're all just forgetting that Sukuna would be fighting Makima as well as everyone else on this tier list except the primals and guns. Sukuna might scare Makima. So yeah, I definitely think it's a 50-50. It honestly could go either way. It really, really could go either way. Again, I feel like Meguna and Maharaga have a much better chance to potentially, like, adapt to the contract or something, as people are saying in chat. But yeah, I could see this going either way, because, like, I personally feel like Sukuna has more win cons. But I also could see plenty of different ways that Makima would be able to. Honestly, you know what? Fuck the 50-50. I actually, if I had to take the over under, I would bet Sukuna. I actually just genuinely think Sukuna has more of a chance. Again, with Fire Arrow just eviscerating every single piece of her, she might not even be able to regenerate. And even if she can, Sukuna still wins the battle overall, right? Like, Sukuna still becomes the stronger character. I would probably say Makima is a Sukuna win, more likely than a loss. I would probably put it. I would probably, yeah. I'd say it's the highest diff battle without a doubt. Highest diff battle without a doubt. And now we have the last couple of primal fears here, and then Yoru. We've got the Falling Devil, which, to be completely honest with you, the Falling Devil is the primal fear that Sukuna probably has the most chance against, just literally because the Falling Devil doesn't have any crazy, ridiculous gimmicks. It quite literally is just, you know, the Falling Devil using its telekinesis and gravity manipulation to do its best to harm Sukuna as much as possible before Sukuna is able to get a really good domain fire arrow against it. Falling Devil's ability is definitely not going to work on Sukuna, just like Makima's control wouldn't work. The fall and the mental trauma wouldn't affect Sukuna because Sukuna doesn't have any mental trauma. Her gravity attacks are very strong, so it is very important to remember the Falling Devil's presence was enough to throw the entire Earth's polar axis off, right? Like, and while I wouldn't say that the Falling Devil is planetary because of that, I would probably definitely say that the Falling Devil is able to do some serious big time damage. Oh, we got big time support coming in. Let's go. Hey guys, thank you so much. Dang, Vincent, you gifted yourself a membership. I didn't even know that was possible. Let's go. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted members. I appreciate that love and support. Thank you so much. It really does mean the world. And then we've got Carl. Thank you for the 5 as well. Meguna can protect himself with Malevolent Shrine, but he only has to partially protect Maharaga to give Maharaga the ability to adapt to the Gun Devil. Thank you for the 5. And yeah, 100%. I think it's fair to say that, like, yeah. Like, if Meguna can use Domain with Maharaga to adapt, survive the Gun Devil's bullets with the Domain, and then adapt, and then, like, you know, adapt Fire Arrow's distance, or, like, have Maharaga, you know, slip through whatever the adaption is, I think that is definitely, like I said, Meguna has a much better chance. I don't think the gravity would be able to affect Sukuna's slashes, no. Oh, hey, I did see you ask the question earlier. I really like your videos. Who do you think would win between Toji and Jogo? That's one of my favorite fights to talk about, to be completely honest with you, Vincent. And what I would have to say is, like, I've got to tell you, gotta tell you, as much as I want to give Toji the win, I think Jogo's just way too OP. His area of effect attacks, the burning, we saw how fucking damaging Jogo was to Maki, and sure, that was pre-awakened Maki, but the thing is like, that damage was still there, and Yuki and like Shoko weren't even sure if they'd be able to heal her fully with reverse curse technique. Like, I think Jogo does win, sadly. It's a tough fight. Like, Toji's really strong, but Jogo's just fucking insane. Hey, let's go. Big Raga, welcome to the Jogo gang. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Bro, that's multi-continental bare minimum. Yes, Archflamingo, I'm not saying that, like, that isn't an insane feat right there, right? But the difference is like, Falling Devil is, when Falling Devil is attacking, Falling Devil's attacks consist of, like, picking up buildings and throwing them at people. Like, her gravity manipulation isn't just, like, she's able to, like Kenjaku throw down gravity and, like, force someone to get crushed. She can, like, turn someone around and turn their gravity manipulation around and maybe have them float forward, but even then she's only able to fall someone when she puts them under mental anguish. She can only, that's how she gets all the people to, you know, jump from their balconies, because they're put under their mental anguish and they fall down, or as she's able to do, she can make them float up towards space with no way out. However, again, most of what falling does is with debris. She does have the big crazy laser, so that's very important to mention. However, I think it's also important to mention that Sukuna, for all intents and purposes, should be around as fast, if not maybe even faster than the Falling Devil. Falling Devil also isn't a very combat oriented character, right? Falling Devil, even going up against a character like Yoru and Denji, does die multiple times before she eventually just finds a way to kill them. Sure, again, you could argue she's not trying to kill Denji and Yoru at this point in either battles, but also at a certain point it's important to remember, like, her personality is much more peaceful. She's a more peaceful primal fear. She might want to cook Sukuna a meal when she realizes he has no mental trauma. Damn, Falling Devil is about to replace Urame. So true, guys. Honestly, that's the real thing that's about to happen here. Sukuna's gonna be like, hey, my last cook sucks. She's only good at freezing shit. You're my new chef. Doesn't the Fallen Devil have a connection to hell? She does, definitely. I think Falling Devil at the very least would probably be, this is a Lenin conversation if I ever heard, literally. I think Falling Devil high diff for sure. Lower than Makima, lower than Makima, higher than Hell Devil for sure. I think Falling Devil sits calmly in high diff. I do think that there are ways for Falling Devil to win. Like, again, you know, Sukuna probably isn't surviving 1 to 2 of those lasers big time. But I also could see a possibility where Falling Devil does get caught by the domain, does get caught by Fire Arrow because she's lacking, and Sukuna could win. Agreed, Lord of Discordia. If Sukuna had any really kind of trauma to manipulate, the Falling Devil would be a definite win. But because one of her major powers is just basically irrelevant in the battle whatsoever, and she's not much of a fighter, I don't want to be like, she's not much of a fighter, so she loses instantly. Like, she's still able to produce a definite amount of damage to Sukuna, and Sukuna, while having very similar, if not maybe a little, you know, while having very similar physical stats, I think Sukuna is just a better battler overall and could probably respond to what she does better than Falling Devil can. Again, I think it's very clear just based off of her fights that we've seen her do. She's not much of a fighter. I mean, even Aging Devil isn't much of a fighter, right? Since we're going to be getting to him next. Aging Devil isn't even much of a fighter either. Aging Devil literally starts throwing his hands through the hell realm, and like Pochita just cuts his hands off, and he's like, ouchie, wouchie. I don't want to do that anymore, guys. Public safety, you do this for me. Like, the Primal Devils are strong because of their gimmicks, because of their powers, because the fears that they represent are so fucking strong. Not only are they empowered by almost probably every human in existence, they've never died because no other devil is able to beat them. But that doesn't always necessarily mean they're strong and they're able to be good fighters, and they're able to, the Aging Devil could pop out his chair and start throwing some taekwondo with Denji. Like, that is not the case. Like, not the case whatsoever. Was I a computer engineer in my pre-YouTube life? I did go to school for computer science at a point in time, but I did not graduate with a computer science degree. And again, where Falling Devil's gimmick was kind of wasted and she can only really use the outside exterior, gravity manipulating side of things, the Aging Devil has a much more dangerous ability compared to Sukuna, because not only did we see the aging work on Yoru specifically. So we know the aging is capable of working on Sukuna. Aging can just send Sukuna to the fucking aging realm. And without Yoshida and Pochida's stomach, there's no way of getting out of the aging realm. Like, Sukuna could just literally be cooked and stuck inside the aging realm forever. He might be the lord of the, aging realm, and maybe he has, plenty of food and humans to eat and plenty of trees, and he can make the entire world his kingdom. The aging devil better never show up back to the aging realm, or, the aging devil is gonna die because Sukuna will kill him. Like, Sukuna has the potential to kill the aging devil. Again, a full domain fire arrow is on par with a nuclear weapon as far as we're saying, and should be able to kill the aging devil. However, the aging devil is most likely never going to give Sukuna that chance, and is just going to probably cast Sukuna into the aging realm faster than Sukuna is able to fight, because again, the aging devil doesn't want to fight. The aging devil just wants to end things quick and move on with his life. So I would probably say the aging devil is a loss for Sukuna. Although Sukuna, unlike the gun, like Sukuna could potentially kill the aging devil. I want to make that very clear. But yeah, the aging devil isn't gonna deal with that bullshit. He's just gonna wipe Sukuna away and be done with that. Yeah, Arame would spend the rest of her life trying to get a contract to the aging devil to release Sukuna. True. So yeah, Tree Kuna is most likely the outcome. He'll be the Lord of Trees, the King of Trees now. He can add that to his title. King of Poisons and King of Curses. Next up, King of Trees. Do you think Sukuna could target reality and break out of the aging devil dimension with the help of Maharaga? If we're saying Maharaga could adapt, I don't know if actually, you know what? Not for nothing. I mean, he did world cutting slash. No abilities work in the aging realm. Oh shit, Tiberius, you're so right. You're so right, Tiberius. I forgot about that. No abilities work in the aging realm. Damn, that's it. That's GG. That is GG. That's a definite win for me now. Now I'm certain for a fact there's no way Sukuna would win. Damn. Wallahi, Trikuna's cooked. Cooked. He's cooked. That's wild though. Damn, I did not expect that. Everyone hit the like button for Tree Kuna. That's crazy. Someone needs to make that meme. Where's Prodigy when you need him? Where's Prodigy when you need him? When you need his artist skills? World Cutting Slash would cut the space. Aging Devil's in, so Agent couldn't delete the attack. Yeah, but Aging Devil would literally just regenerate. I mean, we watched Aging Devil literally repair himself like 20 different times when he was fighting Pochita. And if we're saying Pochita is beating Sukuna, Pochita couldn't even realistically kill Aging. Pochita had to put Aging in a position where Aging was like, damn, all right, you got me stuck in my fucking own realm. Shit. Again, I think Carl has the best chance with the whole Maharaga adapts, just adapted to the World Cutting Slash, and just like Yami from Black Clover, Sukuna just awakens Dimension Slash and just rips through the dimension and pulls himself out. But then now we're just getting into nonsense, right? But either way, yeah, crazy. And next, last but not least, we have Yoru. Yoru, with all of the power, power up she gets from the Nuclear War Devil, the Gun Goddess, the Tank Devil, and she now has the same kind of contract as Makima does, where for every death she incurs, a person in America dies. So, I'm sorry, a person in California dies. Who I'm pretty sure California has even a larger fucking population than Japan does. So yeah, she's got the Accident Devil Whip. She's fucking insanely powerful. So if we're giving Yoru all of the power of the Nuclear War Devil, the Gun Goddess Devil, the same thing that was able to rip through Pochita. Like if we're amping Yoru up from the city level insane feat she was producing in her fight with Pochita, yeah, bro. I think not only this is basically the Makima fight on steroids, where before it was like, Makima, like, she can survive long, but she can't really do too much against him, you know, like, she's strong and powerful, but Sukuna's just a better fighter. Like, Yoru is literally the peak format of this, with the same exact contract, but all of the capability of actually damaging Sukuna in the long run. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, this is once again a loss. Sukuna's about to pull a Yorozu and become a weapon? Damn, that's crazy, bro. So yeah, I think this is pretty much gonna be the definitive tier list, I guess. She could probably beat Sukuna in rock, paper, scissors and turn him into a weapon. Ha! Sukuna's about to become her new pair of boots. Damn, bro. So, I think this is pretty much gonna be how Sukuna would fare against all of the, you know, villainous chainsaw devils in Chainsaw Man. So, like, Sukuna pretty much mops the floor with most of early Chainsaw Man, no problem at all, even no diffing a lot of people in the International Assassin arc. However, where Sukuna begins to start running into problems is facing some of the same issues that Pochita did, which is why I thought it was really important to kind of compare Sukuna to Pochita a little bit and show the difference between the two characters. Because again, Pochita is one-shotting Hell Devil, whereas Sukuna probably wouldn't one-shot the Hell Devil, and that's where immediately he starts falling off. Characters like Makima, Falling Devil, lose not because they're less powerful, but because they don't have the capability of combat that Sukuna does. And the moment he starts going up against devils that do, even devils that don't with the Aging Devil, but just have enough of a power that just overrides Sukuna's strength, it's kind of game over. He does better than I thought. He does relatively well. Honestly, he does relatively well. Funnily enough, I believe Gojo does a little bit better because Gojo is honestly able to hacks the Gun Devil out of a loss. Like, Gojo kind of just hacks the Gun Devil. Gojo also kind of just hacks the Aging Devil a little bit. Depending on if he's able to cast Unlimited Void faster than he's able to get caught in the Aging World. Gotta probably even put Gojo above Yoru just because Limitless is OP. But Darkness Devil is like the great fucking equalizer, bro. Gojo versus the Devils of Chainsaw Man. So I said that earlier, David the Goliath. I actually already did that video. So if you are looking for content, I mean, definitely feel free. You could probably YouTube search it, but if you want to check the main channel as well, I did that almost a year ago, and it's honestly, it's still pretty relevant. So yeah, if you want to check it out, how long would Gojo survive in Chainsaw Man? I made that video. You also do have, you know, This Is Chris who did that video as well. So check it out. Check it out. 2 good videos for you. Obviously, you know, watch my video first. I'm just kidding, but watch whatever video you think is the most interesting to you. But yeah. Honestly, the tier list looks relatively similar. But if you want to listen to that whole yap session, feel free. Big Raga, thank you for the dono. I appreciate it. Thank you for the $2. How well would Mahito do? Mahito does not have the stats like Sukuna and Gojo do, sadly. Like, Mahito starts to run into issues with Rize. You know, like, and the Typhoon Devil. You know, not that I think he's insta losing, but like, these characters are a much larger threat to him than Sukuna. Now, Modulo Mahito, this is a different story entirely. We may have a different discussion to talk about. Haha. But seriously, Coconut, welcome back. Gojo also has pseudo teleporting. Good point. Good point. But yeah, y'all, that is the definitive Sukuna versus Chainsaw Man stream. I heavily enjoyed that. How would Yuta do? That's a good question too. People asked about Yuta versus Upper Moons, and I also think that would be a really good discussion for a stream soon. I do want to start catching up on my Pokemon streams though, so if I do some more streams on anime stuff, that's probably the next one that I'll do. But I do some other fun ideas, like I do want to do Jujutsu Kaisen's top 10, and by the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, I think that will be a really fun stream as well. So definitely feel free to keep an eye out, subscribe if you aren't already, and hit the bell. Check out, some of the other live streams that are going to be coming up. But also, like I said, if you want to see Gojo versus the Chainsaw Man Devils, feel free to check that out on this channel. I do have that video fully edited and recorded. It's a fun video. I do also have plenty of other videos on the main channel. Besides that, like I've got Red vs. Ash isn't close. Fun, in-depth discussion videos like only the strongest dare to change. How strong would Modulo Yuji be? I've got all the Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo best possible theories, all the Infinity Castle fights ranked. And also, not for nothing, I also do have a second channel as well, guys. So if you're looking for more content, go check that out. Post almost daily on this channel. So if you read Gachi Akuta, if you read Dandadan, if you read Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Sakamoto Days, Kagurabachi, all of these, weekly series, check them out on the second channel. Link is going to be in the description. Link is going to be in chat. And also just to post, I'm trying to post more often on the gaming channel too, guys. So feel free to subscribe to that as well. If you're just looking for some content to binge for when you're going to sleep, if you need something to put on late at night and you're, on your phone and just need something to have on that primary screen, check out the gaming channel. I'm trying to post at least once a week on this. And also big time shout out too as well. We have more videos coming, but me and Tiberius also have a new channel, Hyperfixations, which is going to be fun, scary stories, interesting stories that are going to be out. We have a bunch of butterfly effect stories that are released, and we just have a couple more DoorDash stories and also some DMT trip stories that are going to be super duper interesting. So thank you so much for the links, Jesse, for posting them. I appreciate that. Also, I posted the link for Hyperfixations in chat as well. If you're looking for some fun story reading stuff, I get plenty of content all the time that, or plenty of comments all the time that be telling me, hey, yo, you got a great voice. You should be a radio host. You should do this. Well, here's your chance, guys. Listen to me tell you some scary or interesting or fun stories, right? Go subscribe to the Hyperfixations channel if you're looking for more content. And Vincent, thank you so much for the 10 gifted members. Again, thank you for the big support. Thank you for the big dono. I appreciate all the love and support today. Big time, guys, on stream. Hit the like button if you haven't already. That is a great way to support the channels, support the stream for free. Again, guys, don't forget gamersubs.gg is the sponsor of the stream. Pinned message. Go check out Gamersubs. Use my code NOOP for 10% off. Or if you also want to support the stream for free, use my code to get free samples from Gamersubs, guys. And yeah, guys, thank you all so much for the love. Thank you all for the support. Hit the like button. Subscribe to all of the channels. If you're looking for some more content to keep you busy in these, dark and boring times sometimes, because I know sometimes you all be scrolling and you're like, damn, there ain't shit to fucking watch. Turn on some no-op game. Turn on some Hyperfixation stories. Or even, like I said, if you're reading some weekly manga, check out the No More Operator channel with me and Jesse. Guys, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during the stream. This was fun. Again, I am going to hopefully turn this into a video and have this up in the next day or so before the movie. So look out for that if you want to see all of this kind of condensed into a smaller video. And with all that being said, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Look out for the next stream. It is Tuesday, so hopefully I'm gonna try and have another stream this week by the weekend. And if not, guys, again, I'm trying to hopefully have stream days be set for Monday, where we'll have long streams and we'll hang out, we'll play games, and maybe we'll do some different things, you know, kind of like a Twitch stream that all these motherfuckers be doing, where I stream for like, you know, 4 to 6 hours, and I just let you guys, you know, we all hang out and do some fun stuff, especially with Halloween coming up. But guys, I love you all. Again, thank you all so much for the donations and support. It really does mean the world, and I appreciate it. And again, if you're looking for more content, there is plenty of stuff for you all to binge. So I will see you guys in the next one, and love y'all.